Welcome to How to Retire on Time, a show that answers your questions about all things retirement, including income, taxes, Social Security, healthcare, and more. The show is an extension of the book, How to Retire on Time, which you can grab exclusively on Amazon or by going to www.howtoretireontime.com. My name is Mike Decker. I'm the author of the book, How to Retire on Time, but I'm also a licensed financial advisor, insurance agent, and tax professional, which means when it comes to financial topics, we can pretty much cover it all. Now, that said, please remember this is just a show. Everything you hear should be considered informational, as in not financial advice. If you want personalized financial advice, then request your wealth analysis from my team today by going to www.yourwealthanalysis.com. With me in the studio today is Mr. David Franson. David, thanks for being here.
Yes, hello.
David's going to be reading your questions that you've submitted, and I'm going to do my best to answer them. You can send your questions in anytime this week by texting them to 913-363-1234. Again, that's 913-363-1234. Or you can email them to heymike@howtoretireontime.com. Let's begin.
Hey, Mike, I'm 50 years old and haven't been able to retire. Is there anything I can do to accelerate my retirement preparation?
Absolutely. There's always something to do. I love what Jim Rohn talks about, the guy before Tony Robbins.
Oh, okay.
He basically says, you don't want to focus on the problems. You want to focus on the solutions.
Makes sense.
And when we can be an as-is person, so this is as things are, we're not comparing our current situation to the utopic ideology. Oh, if only things were this way. We don't want to go down that rabbit hole of, oh, I wish it was this way, or I wish I did that. Forget that. What are we dealing with now, and how do we move forward? So to answer this question, which, by the way, happens more often than people will admit, whether they just didn't save, and it could be for a number of reasons. Maybe they just didn't know. Maybe they didn't have excess income. Maybe they got trapped by consumerism. Maybe they got divorced and lost it all. Go down the list. The thing is, you don't want to have shame or embarrassment overwhelm you. You want to be solution focused. So the first thing that you need to do is first figure out, how much do you need to be able to retire with the life that you want? Done. Put the number, net of tax, after taxes are paid, all of that. How much do you want to be able to spend each month? And you don't want to say, well, I want to sail around the world in my yacht. Okay, let's be realistic here. I think everyone listening is going to be realistic, right? But how much would allow you to be fulfilled and not stress about paying the bills? Okay, so you want to have a little bit of a buffer. Maybe your average expenses are $5,000 a month. So maybe it's $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000. I mean, start to figure that out. And if you don't know, look at the last 12 months of your bank statements and start pulling apart, okay, what are you spending? Would you keep spending on that thing or that activity and so on? But you can gather some context here. Now, once you figure out how much you want, start to work backwards. Okay, so I want X amount of money. Let's just say, let's say $7,000 a month, just for an arbitrary number.
Okay.
I want $7,000 a month and I want to retire in 10 years. I want to retire at 60 years old. Okay. Maybe that's possible. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's 65 that you're able to retire. But you can start to work backwards. So if you put in X amount of money, what would that get you based on average return? Our software specifically does this for you. But then you can start asking your questions. Okay, are you saving enough? If the answer is yes, then great, you're on track. You can rest easy at night. Even though you have nothing saved, you can rest easy at night. The next question I want to say is, where are you saving? So there's a difference between your Roth within your 401k or the after-tax side of the 401k versus the pre-tax or the traditional IRA side of the 401k, in 403b or whatever. If you're saving, that's going to be a better way to put money is into a qualified account because it can grow without capital gains issues. So in theory, you could have better growth potential there. But you don't want to create a tax issue later on. So if the income you want in retirement is the same as what you're getting today, okay, you follow me, David?
I'm getting that, yep.
So if it's kind of the same thing, then you may want to focus on funding the Roth. Just pay the taxes as they are today.
All right.
If your income is expected to go down significantly, maybe you're in the pre-tax category. So think of like a pilot or an engineer or a plumber. They're in the latter years. They've had a great career. They're in the highest earning years. They don't need all this. They're just trying to, like a squirrel, gather all the nuts at the end before the season. If your income is significantly higher now than compared to when you want to retire, you may go to the pre-tax. But if it's the same, go to the Roth.
Okay.
There's an expression that says the IRS tax code is written in pencil,
Yeah.
as in they could change it anytime that they want. But if you get into the Roth, then you have less risk, less legislative risk in the future.
Yeah, that does make sense.
So we know debt's an issue. We know that spending's an issue. Fine. There's a chance that taxes could go up or go down, but you know what you're working within today. And so if you're okay with that, then you proceed. Then you start looking into, okay, are you funding the after-tax side of your 401k? Maybe you do additional contributions to your Roth. Maybe you're exploring other options, like maybe you decide to do some life insurance because you need a death benefit. And life insurance, it's not an investment. So if you're a single saving for retirement, maybe life insurance doesn't make sense. But if there's a spousal risk, so you two are married, you don't have anything saved, you're trying to save, but if one spouse were to die in the next 10 years, it would be detrimental to the surviving spouse and their retirement. Maybe you do incorporate some life insurance that you can grow a cash value and have that death benefit just in case. These are things you have to plan for. And I want to reiterate that again. Life insurance is not an investment. It's often posed as an investment. It's not. It's insurance. That's okay. It's a tool, but it should be defined as such. Now you also need to be figuring out, okay, once I retire, how am I going to take the income out? Those things matter. It's all about working backwards. Define what you want. Look at the timelines of if you save X amount of money, when could you afford to retire and what would that look like? And then start working backwards with the strategies to get you there and then what to do once you retire and go on. By the way, this is all outlined in my book, How to Retire on Time. So I talk in great detail about it, but here's the poignant part of, I think, this conversation. You can either be disciplined and buy your future. So it's not, oh, you're saving for a rainy day or you're saving for your retirement. No, you're literally buying your future. Because when you put money into investments, you're going to spend that money later on when you can't keep generating income, when you've retired from work. So if you think about it as 10%, 15%, 20% of your income this year is intended to buy your future, to buy your freedom. It's just a different way. We like to buy things.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, we're buying something.
So if you don't buy your future, then you have no future. I mean, that's the most simple way to put it.
That's true.
But I want to be very sensitive to many people listening right now that maybe don't have extra money to just save.
Right.
So if that's you, here's a couple of things that I want you to consider. You're a human. You have infinite power to affect positive change. Your current career, your current income is not set in stone. So if you're 50 years old or somewhere around there and you're not saving for retirement, don't fret. Think about your career. What skill could you develop that makes you more valuable for a corporation to pay you by the hour? There's really two skills. There are technical skills. So think of plumbers, electricians, pilots, engineers, software developers. Those are all very technical skills. You're not going to go to the library and learn that skill in a couple of days, okay? And then there are scalable skills. In leadership, could you get yourself into a position, maybe play a little office politics, to then go into a managerial role, inherit some more responsibility? I mean, yes, you're going to inherit more stress in your life. Yes, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. But as you make your time more valuable, other people will be more willing to pay it. People weren't intended, at least the way I see it, to live off of minimum wage for life. We were supposed to grow in either a technical skill or in a scalable skill. So if you're not earning enough to save, consider your career planning for the next couple of years and what can you do to increase one of those other skills. It's never over. You have infinite power to affect positive change. Start affecting that positive change now. Start putting together your plan, your strategy to increase income, to increase your savings, and then to create an investment system that can help you grow your assets over the next 10 years or so. That's all the time we've got for the show today. If you enjoyed the show, consider subscribing to it wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for How to Retire on Time. Discover if your portfolio is built to weather flat market cycles or if you're missing tax minimization opportunities that you may not even know exist. Explore strategies that may be able to help you lower your overall risk while potentially increasing your overall growth and lifestyle flexibility. This is not your ordinary financial analysis. Learn more about Your Wealth Analysis and what it could do for you, regardless of your age, asset, or target retirement date. Go to www.yourwealthanalysis.com today to learn more and get started.